Hello. Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk about morality, or right and wrong. I'm sure you've noticed that our culture over the last few years has been pushing God out of our decision-making process, God out of everything, right? And we've also seen changes on what our culture considers to be right and what it considers to be wrong. So when we take God out of the equation, who then does the world determine, or who then does the world say determines right and wrong? Well, that falls on us, people. We all have different upbringing, we all have a different local culture, we all have different experiences. And this can all change, our thought process on what's right and what's wrong. And that can even change over time. And culture says one person's definition of right and wrong can be different from the next person's. This is referred to as relativism. We Christians, we see things differently, don't we? We have one universal set of morals. Set of morals given by an all-loving, all-knowing, and just God. And where do we see these universal morals? Well, we see them in commandments in the Old Testament. We see them in the Ten Commandments on the tablets given to Moses, and there are other commandments as well throughout the Old Testament. But these commands are not limited to those who have heard of them. In fact, Romans 2, verses 14 through 16, talks about that a bit, and I'm going to cover that here. So it says, even Gentiles who do not have God's written law show that they know his law when they instinctively obey it, even without having heard it. They demonstrate that God's law is written in their hearts for their own conscience, and thoughts either accuse them or tell them that they are doing right. So what is this saying? It's saying all people have access to God's law because it's written on their hearts. They're born with it. So there's no excuses for anybody to not follow this law, right? And it should be comforting for us to know that the instruction for right and wrong come from God, the perfect moral standard, not from man, whose hearts are deceitful and desperately wicked. It's also comforting knowing that his word, his moral standard, is available to all people. Thank you for your time.